The following is a presentation of the Eagles Sports Network.
Alongside Carson-Newman baseball coach Tom Griffin, I'm Michael Watchring, and this is the Eagles Sports Network. Carson-Newman picked 5th in the preseason coaches poll. And, Coach, I know that means a lot to you. I know that you spend a lot of time thinking about it. But overall, let's talk about how this team looks entering this season. It's going to be an entirely different look, basically, in the field. How has the new kids adapted to this system?
They have done quite well, I think, because fortunately for baseball, as you know, Michael, we have all fall to kind of figure out what to do. Your fall sports have, a brief period of time before they kick into games and have to figure things out. Baseball and the spring sports, we have such a longer period of time to kind of see who can do what, kind of learn the system, learn what the expectations are. So I think the fall period that we've had since early September till now, we feel like they should know what the expectations are, what we're expecting, and how to do it. Being able to put it in practice, obviously, is the key, and see what happens here in the next month or so.
You look at the mound. Last year, you got a lot of guys into a lot of different game situations, giving them that experience, and now you have basically 70% of your innings pitched from last year back this season. What's that do to have that experience, plus some of the new guys in, to be able to have a lot of different options in the pen?
It's a strength. It's a strength. Coach Bounds and Coach Lambert, I think, have done a great job with instilling what we expect from the new guys, and I think they've caught on pretty quick because they're going to contribute right away. But as you said, so many guys returning, that's a huge advantage to have. And obviously you think there's a maturity factor that happens physically and mentally that they should be better now than they were last year, especially those guys who just was their first year. You expect the second year to be much better. So that is a strength that we've seen up to this point, is the depth that we have in pitching. And I think the leadership that we've had with the pitching department, because you got a guy like Will Gardner, who we think's an ultra-competitive kid, not just on the mound, but in his workouts, in his work ethic. I think that translates to the other guys very well. You need that type of guy who is going to touch the line, he's going to run up the hill, he's going to finish everything, and Will has that type of mindset, and so that's good to have on that leadership part.
Yeah, you mentioned Will Gardner. Well, you get Brett Langhorne back, a senior in the field. Those two are both preseason all-conference guys. A lot of expectations on their shoulders. How important is it for those two to lead this group?
I don't know. To lead the group, you hate to say that, and the preseason thing means absolutely nothing because they haven't done anything yet. And based on what happened several months ago, it's irrelevant, to be honest with you, whoever made all conference. I guess it's good for their parents to post it at work that they made preseason. And I would ask as an employee to that guy, what did he hit this year? Well, no, this is what he did last year. Well, who cares what he did this year? I wish we'd get rid of those doggone preseason polls, Michael, and I hope you would get on that bandwagon with me and push that. They got to just do what they do. They don't have anything extra on their shoulders. Their shoulder that they've got to carry, the burden they got to carry, is in the workouts, in the weight room, in the locker room, on campus. All they got to do is just make sure that they are being great servants. That's all. As far as on the field, they don't have to do anything different than what they're capable of doing. And that's what we've talked about, and I think that's what all coaches talk about. Be the best version of yourself. Don't worry about you got to carry the team. They don't have to carry nothing because they ain't going to play the game by themselves. Brett Langhorne, to be successful, has got to make sure the guys in front and behind him are doing their job. He's got to make sure that the pitchers are throwing strikes. I mean, it's serving others versus them got to carry the load. They don't have to carry nothing. They don't have to do nothing.
2 weeks until first pitch against Limestone. What does this team need to do over the next 14 days to come out of that first weekend with a couple wins?
That's a great question. I think as much game experience that we can get through scrimmaging, obviously the weather plays a part of that, but as coaches, as much as we can put them in game situations, seeing live pitching, having the ball come off the bat versus a fungo, but coming off live, and us being able to handle that, being able to run the bases, making decisions on the big field, catchers being able to recognize what to do at the plate, as much live action that we can get is going to be crucial. I think it's for everyone. It's just giving them game reps. Outside of that, we've got a couple guys in the depth department that we feel have got to do a better job in understanding what to do, because if something should go wrong, next man up, only as good as your weakest link, and those guys have to be better here physically and mentally. And as coaches, we've got to make sure we're preparing them in that mental department.
Coach, snow's on the ground, but we're 2 weeks away from baseball. Looking forward to the start of the season. Best of luck this year.
Thank you, Michael, for everything you do.
He's Carson-Newman baseball coach Tom Griffin. I'm Michael Watchring, and this is the Eagle Sports Network.